Oh, hello everyone, welcome to Star Citizen Universe, still patch 3.9.1. But, oh, it is a glorious morning on this moon here. I have woken up, hence slash joined into the universe, logged in on a wonderfully beautiful ship here, known as the Origin 600i. Oh, it's a rental, but oh my gosh, is it so worth it. About 170,000 credits for a one-day journey through the stars in an absolute luxury mobile. So, just to kind of set you off, obviously you can probably tell I'm at the front of the ship here. I'd have to look myself to find out what planet I'm on. What moon, but oh, Calliope. So, I rented this last night, and I came in, decided I wanted to do a Star Citizen vacation, and kind of find out what I can do in the verse to kind of just have fun and cruise about. I think there's almost, is that dust above the bed? I digress. But, man, this is a fantastic ship. It's just huge. I walked into the hangar, and it's just massive. It's a beautiful craft, and as you can tell from the intricacies of, like, the materials and everything that are used inside of it, I mean, if they were real, just show the class, the quality of everything about this. I'm going to take an absolute risk here. In threat of dying. Okay, so I am on the ground. Okay. I did not know that. It looked like I was much further up in the air, but I was just curious. And so I figured I was floating in space. I wanted to just lower this, and obviously at the risk of falling out into space or hurtling towards a celestial body at whatever gravitational forces wanted to accelerate me, I decided to pull that maneuver. Yeah, so this is the main place where you'll enter the ship. You come into a 2-deck tier, all glass bottom here that you can see up through with a hollow projected map of some sorts. So this is labeled as an explorer ship, a luxury exploration ship that definitely emphasis on the luxury. So if you'd head that way, you get to the main quarters of whoever is the one taking or doing the exploration, and you come back this way to the crew quarters. Seats 4 beds with ample room here in the middle for whatever. I don't believe this ship actually has any storage, but if there were any storage spaces, obviously you'd probably just put the cargo back here with the crew. 4 escape pods, so 4 beds, 4 escape pods, 2 bathrooms, oddly enough, that are showers, toilet, sink, and then crew quarter storage stuff here. So 4 of those, everything to match the number of beds. Same thing reversed here. Medical dispensary here in the middle, and then some just access panels for engineering. So somebody either these are putting out smoke, or there's just, it's dusty in here. Even the ceiling has like a marble, not polished, but just a marble like rock kind of finish to it. So it also boasts 2 elevators. So if you're in the front or the back of the ship, everything, if you want to go up, down, you can actually exit the ship from these. I guess the landing gear would have to be down in order to put these down. But you can exit the ship from the elevators as well to get up to the second level here, the top deck. We have 2 seats, probably maybe for guns, not really sure. Oh, it's a scanner seat. Okay, so you could have 2 scanners working back here with their hands up. I'll give you an exterior view of the ship here after a bit, but yeah, so currently a mechanic that doesn't work, but you could have 2 crew members back here in scanning positions. It's an exploration ship, just kind of looking for things and seeing where things are going. So a nice Origin Jumpworks etching on the glass that leads to the bottom. Second elevator, which goes up. 3 escape pods for the crew. So the front crew, then the actual deck crew, would have 3 escape pods. The 2 scanner guys gotta die. and then the 4 crew sleeping are able to get out of there, and the person in the main bed would just have to, I don't know, break the glass and run. We have some engineering panels and everything in here. A couple access doors, which I thought this worked, but I guess not. Oh, this is the suit and armory. Okay, I had mistaken where I was exactly. So weapons and armor, suits, exploration suits, obviously we need it for environmental suits depending on where you're going with the ship. It also sports a full bar, stocked and loaded with alcohol, beverage, drinks, a few little fruits there on the table. And not only that, but we have a mid-deck with some seating here, so you could come in, sit, and this is the rear view of the ship, so you're able to look out the back and watch the stars as they fly by, or whatever landscape. Indoor plants, large television, flat screen, built into the wall, pool table with cues, a couple benches and stools, wraparound lean seating, I would say, obviously branded with the Origin Jumpworks logo. Full kitchen down here, so food, beverages up top, alcohol, everything come down here for the mess hall. A couple places to sit, eat, tablet and all that kind of stuff, refrigerator. Just an absolute wonderful place to take a vacation. And yeah, some maintenance panels. I think these go back near where the engines are. So this would be if you had to come back here, maintain anything. We do have some server and engineering racks. I believe both of these are mirrored on either side. But I mean, just creatively hidden as well. So even though the access panels are here, they don't kind of lack on the style, as everything kind of blends in and kind of goes with it as we go back. So this has an open, okay, so there is a utility panel here, and you can visually see some of the components with the caution labels and all that. It's just, yeah, don't touch. Very cool. So both those panels work, or at least the ones in the back do. Very cool. Very cool. All right, so with that little short tour underway and completed, we'll go back up, looking out the sights of Calliope's frozen terrain, kind of the view of the mountains here. We'll take off from a somewhat crashed landing-ish looking area here, and we'll get this baby underway. So it handles exactly how you would think it would. It is a giant luxury yacht. There we go. So as we rise up into the captain's seat, I guess it rises up a little bit as well. So not only you sit in it, but you actually rise up just a little bit to get a better view out these windows. Remember that the view directly under this, this has a very large glass front, but the view from underneath is the main passenger's bedroom, with the bed that faces directly towards this front window. So we'll get an exterior view of the ship now since we're in daylight. I'll do a swivel around. You can see just how massive, even walking around that ship, just how massive it felt on the inside. And you can see the secondary deck there with the bar. The table with the pool table would be underneath that, the engines on each side, intaking from the front. You have the double deck front window view with the cockpit, and then the luxury quarters directly underneath, luxury master quarters. From underneath you can see that elevator that we go down, the main one, and then that circle up near the front right. From this angle would be one of the elevators that is able to extend all the way down, and you can actually exit the ship through that way. So 2 entry points, one that would be able to bring in maybe a small vehicle, and then the other one just purely for passengers. Being a small elevator, I'll lower the landing gear. Oh, we got problems. Okay. I need to make sure I'm stabilized here. I had moved the mouse too much without being in rotational camera view. So so you can see those other panels relate to landing gear and where those come from. And go ahead and kick down the other panels to show how things kind of pop out and what exterior panels are open. As you can lower that loan later, and then 2 rails pop down because that is an elevator that's interior, so it needs something to guide along. It lowers those down in the elevator, which is airlocked along with that as well. So we'll close the hatches, seal the ship up, demonstrate the boosters a little bit. So we'll do a little vertical and a little blasting just to get a feel of the sound of what this craft is like from the exterior before we pop into the cockpit again. So it does fly quite well currently. The new patch will be coming out shortly, and that will add in some atmospheric flight mechanics for ships, especially ones like this where the aerodynamics are maybe not going to be so great, as it doesn't have wings or anything to adjust. But what aerodynamics it does have in its shape will hopefully play into it being able to navigate through atmospheres lower on some planets. You can see here my HUD is much different than some of the ones I've been used to flying, as this one has more of an emphasis on the exploration. So it has a star map that I'm able to control directly down here from the main control, rather than having to go into my Mobi glass. So you're able to say navigate to and select waypoints directly on here without having to go into that Mobi glass and then setting your destinations, which can be really handy, as I found using that for comms without having to go into Mobi glass is really nice when coming into ports, as you don't necessarily have to worry about crashing into things because you don't have something taking up your entire screen. The game developers have really wanted to immerse the player into the game rather than pull them out of this universe by making them open a menu. And it shows in how the interfaces of these ships go and fit the style of exactly what they're trying to do. This is curious, as I've never, the planets are, as far as I know, procedurally generated, so you just kind of come across random things that maybe a developer put there, and maybe they're just kind of random seeds of something that they told the game to put in and creating a planet you just end up with, so you end up with these craters. So now that I see a few more of them, that's probably just a landscape effect that kind of comes into just this world. Currently it's a little dreary. I mean, it's like -60 or -80 degrees Celsius on the surface of this planet. And we'll head somewhere more luxurious, more relaxing here in a bit. I just wanted to pop in and kind of give you the experience of me loading into this from last night when I had just kind of taken off from a hangar and wanted to jump somewhere to find out. And so I logged out from the bed so I could pop into the ship completely when loading into the server. Fuel management seems okay. I have been flying quite a bit with this sub-quantum. So as you can see, I'm sitting at 78% hydrogen fuel. This is meant to be an exploration ship, and therefore it has almost 3,000 full quantum fuel, which is 500 more quantum than my Freelancer Max, which can hop around. I think one of the further trips I've ever seen ever taken takes about 400 to 500 quantum fuel for a jump from one of the furthest planets, or like two far planets from each other. So when we were looking out the window, I thought we were looking at the planet, which made me feel like we were flying and not necessarily just sitting on the ground. But it turns out to be just this thick, icy atmosphere. Atmospheric layer that exists over this planet. And as we've broken that, we are getting our flight systems overheating. which is very interesting. I feel like we could just open some panels and chill those quite easily here, or maybe over-freeze them on this planet. One interesting thing I did have happen to me last night, I was testing out the guns, and overloaded the systems so much that the ship just shut off on me. So I'm seeing if I can replicate that. I think we have 3 cannons. So we have 3 cannons that fire on this. Not quickly, but this is also not meant to be a warship. It's purely for defense of the passenger and the crew. Being an exploration ship, you think you'd have to have some weapons if we were to come across some kind of foreign entity, alien, or pirates that might want to take hostages. So as now we see we're pulling away from the planet. You can see just the beauty of this craft. The highlights of blue, the white exterior, the clean aesthetic look of this craft. So, I mean, from this, I would feel like the aerodynamics wouldn't be too terrible. The ailerons and everything that exist. Not the traditional wing, but definitely something that takes aerodynamics into play and worries about where they go, with major emphasis on thrust for moving this giant heap through space. Alright, so we'll figure out a destination to take this to. Wouldn't want to necessarily go too far. Let's go to Clio first, and then we'll come back around and hit the other world. So now we are flying completely in reverse. I'm going to go ahead and kick that off. Kick off our engines just so I can navigate. There we go. That is the marker I'm looking for. We'll make a quick jump here. Get to a place where our destination is not obstructed. I'm just very happy that we did not wake up on the dark side of the planet. Wouldn't have been as exciting. Some our arrow indicators coming up here. So one difference between this map showing here at the bottom of my interface is that it does not rotate with me, but it does have its center. See, as we see that Calliope disappeared from our local map as we pulled away, and if we were to scale a little bit more, we can see as we come into Clio
Quantum drive
on our nav map. A green planet. We'll have to see if there is any kind of vegetation or anything that comes with this. It's just water. Orbital marker look for any kind of land masses. Land markers that are not on the dark side. Are we able to jump without a marker? I don't think so. Well, we can go ahead and just jump to one of these just to get down to the planet.
Quantum drive activated.
And it shows the difference between quantum travel and hydrogen fuel travel, as it would take an extremely long time. You know, even at max engines, to travel from orbit of a planet, probably hundreds of thousands of meters, down to tens of thousands of meters, or 10,000 meters high, which is where we're at now. So I'm going to try and stay up out of the atmosphere a little bit. I'm going to have to go back up to achieve that, so we don't lose speed, because right now we're hitting about a little shy of 600 meters per second. Obviously this planet does have a thick atmosphere, Does that bode well for the chances that there's some life, some trees, some water? Probably. Thick atmosphere, I would think, would lend credence to that green hue coming from one of those elements. Now, as our velocity, our high velocity is able to increase, we're able to travel a little bit faster here, just being further away from the planet. So we'll kind of level out here, match the orbit, and take in the scenery. We'll kind of zoom in, so we do look like we've got a rough, rocky terrain. So even with a thick atmosphere, this moon does get pelted. With all those craters visible, this place does take a hit. But maybe the green is actually maybe poisonous gas. We'll find out. I don't think I'm going to be walking around without my helmet on. But we'll see. Alright, now that we've entered kind of a more lighter side, we'll make our way down. And we'll make our way down hard. So we almost black out. Always a note, never just turn your ship 90 degrees in a direction, start max boosting your thrusters. So we went from a very rocky part, mountainous part of this world, to a much more planar side. The atmosphere is getting a lot thicker as we go down as well. As our maximum speed decreases, pass through the layers. I might take this opportunity here to land in a crater and take an exterior view of the ship from a personal view and to get that perspective. So we'll level out here so we don't crash into the ground. We gotta remember that this ship is large. So it may be a flatter part of the planet, definitely not more hospitable landing conditions. We'll go ahead and kick off our cruise control thrusters, put our landing gear down, and see a flat-ish spot over here. Not too many rocks. Set our
collision 4. Warning, collision port. Warning, collision starboard. Landing complete.
no, somewhat not flat, but it'll do. Yeah, so yeah, the captain's chair does slide up a bit on this center terminal, as evidenced there. That's pretty neat. Just to give you that better view. I mean, it does matter. I might take the main elevator out of the ship. This one would go all the way down and out of the ship, but I just want to be sure, just in case with the terrain and how rocky it is, that I don't break anything. It's a rental, and I didn't buy insurance. So, also another cold planet. Negative 53 degrees Celsius. So, definitely not taking my helmet off, but we'll get a sense of scale for this craft. It's just absolutely massive. You see the landing gear here. I'm dwarfed by these. Just absolutely dwarfed. And when I had walked into the hangar for this ship, I walked in and it filled the place. It was just, I looked up and I was like, wow, this is definitely why this ship costs $170,000 per day. I heard there's another place you can rent it from where it's actually costs $250,000. Luckily, I went to the place that's cheaper. But interesting. So I thought these were manned turrets, but I guess they are remote turrets, as they were. These would pop down and be able to be remotely controlled from inside the ship from safety. Huh. It's quite interesting. Yes, the blue and white just works so well. And obviously I have the sun behind it, so that's helping, and my glass is fogging up. I guess my environmental suit can handle these temperatures quite well. I did not get a survival warning. Go ahead and take my helmet off since it's all wet. And realize that I'm on the wrong deck. I meant to enter the cockpit. And entered the main quarters. So, ship is recommended for at least a minimum crew of 2. Currently, obviously, you see I'm flying this on my own, which doesn't seem to be a problem, but I might be losing some functionality as things kind of develop more and ship features get more fully fleshed out. That will become more necessary or more useful than it is currently. There just isn't too much to do other than transportation. I thought about hiring a player to tour me around the universe in this thing, but then they might crash, and that doesn't make for a fun video. Especially for just somebody that I don't know, asking them to pilot me around. I'm going to go ahead and flip upside down so we can keep the planet in view as we go, but all I'm doing is heading towards atmosphere. Get back into orbit. We'll log a course for Euterpe. Set course for there. Once we break altitude. Restrictions. Give a little bit more speed. There's one thing I'm definitely disappointed with. At least with the stock model of this ship, is the inefficiency of the coolers. You're able to buy and upgrade most elements of the ship, one of them being the coolers, the quantum drive, engines, weapons, all those kind of systems. Maybe eventually more modifications to be possible. I think you can do paint as well. But the coolers seem to be a very, very necessary system to want to throw some money at, as you can see, this warning, flight systems overheating, has been just sitting there. And the entire time I'm trying to accelerate to maximum speed. That's not even too fantastic, but I guess for the size of the ship, it's to be expected. So we'll kind of just take the exploration part of this, and take a gander as we just throw it into cruise mode, where we're still flying up, engines are off. Just gaze at the world we just flew away from. That almost seems like that would be water. You know, I am curious. Because I have heard that there are bodies of water, but I have yet to find one. I would like to know if there currently is water in the game, and what worlds have it. The -90 or -58C that is the surface of this world, I can imagine it would be H2O. So it might be some other liquid. But hey, we're going along on this journey together, and this Aqua Beach? We'll find out. The ship is still pointing towards this other marker here, which indicates where my velocity vector is heading. Even though I am pointed in this direction, if I do thrust, I can bring it closer to where the forward part of my ship is facing. It looks like right now we might be making the opposite side of the beach. I do believe that this is some sort of liquid. So we just broke it back into orbit of the planet here. We're at 20,000 meters, rapidly decreasing towards the surface. I'm going to go ahead and kick it into that. And I realize my landing gear is still up, so just in case if we do hit some atmosphere and start to burn, I'd like to be in a somewhat aerodynamically sound position, rather than having the glass portions of the ship facing towards that burn. Alright, here we go. We have now adjusted course, and the ship is heading towards the forward. See the reflection of the sun off of this supposed liquid body here. Now, I don't have too high of expectations for the water, other than that it's going to be some sort of liquid. I keep saying that because it's most likely not water at these temperatures. Now, I have seen videos of the new water mechanics, new water shaders and graphics that they've put into the game. With the new patch that is upcoming. But as I guess we can see, yeah, there is. It is a liquid, not a lot of waves or anything being shown here. It's not what I was not expecting any. That seems to be one of the references that people that are posting videos on 3.10 are commenting on, is the water shaders and the waves. So let's dip a toe, as it were. We were able to break the surface of the water with our landing gear. And we put the forward portion of the ship under the water and see what happens. So, yeah, water mechanics are still something to be desired, but still pretty cool. I'm going to join this party here. This is the guy I was working with last night. And I'll end the video here and add more later. So I'm glad you were able to join me along with this journey, with this vacation that we take in the 600i. See you in the verse.